the SEMA Crunch is the...
It's not a cereal.
It's not a cereal. It's not owned by a generic cornflakes or cereal brand. Basically, the SEMA Crunch is the time in which you have left to build something for SEMA.
This is the final episode in our NASCharger build series. This last edition is brought to you by another two of the firms that helped Sam make his crazy idea a spectacular reality, Mickey Thompson Tyres and the wheelspecialist.co.uk. As you may have guessed, Mickey Thompson provided the tyres and the wheel specialist of Farnborough in Hampshire restored the original NASCAR wheels.
In this episode, we set up the stereo system and sort out the last few items on the to-do list, like the exhaust and the prop shaft, as the NASCharger build finally ends and we prepare our creation to be shipped off to the United States. Before it gets across to America, we show off at one of the top car shows in the nation, this time alongside other iconic Fast and the Furious vehicles. Oh, and before it goes off to drive in the radical build-off drive-off, which ends at the SEMA show in Las Vegas, we have some fun with it too. In the previous episode, you will have seen the wonderful people at Quality Covers all repaint the car. Among other things in that episode, JL Audio supplied us with the Media Master MM50 Marine Stereo Control Unit. Well, before we show you how the NASCharger stole the show at the awesome FuelFest, let's get stuck into the final bits and bobs on that snag list.
So, guys, we've got the Dodge Charger back from QCA. Amazing paint job.
Oh, mate, it's stunning.
It's just bang
It's
on,
like another car. It really is. They've done absolutely the best job that I've
This
seen.
is really like a contender for America's Next Top Model, right?
Oh, mate, all day long.
Designed in Britain, perfected in America, and ruined again in Britain.
Something along those lines.
But you may know Nick Williams here as one of the best photographers in the UK. You've seen his pictures on the Dodge Chargers, the Rat Rod, the Rolls-Royce Rat Rod from SEMA.
Yeah.
And what a lot you may not know is Nick is an amazing electrician when it comes to audio systems, and have one of the coolest Audi A3s, right?
Yeah. So with what a lot of people don't realise is I built an A3 a few years ago. Most of the audio work was done by another company called Studio In Car, but I've always had a big passion for car audio. So with this, it's quite nice because it's a little bit of a retro style install. So it's something that I can sort of get stuck in with and enjoy.
Let's have it large.
Yeah.
Hard up garage.
Of course, installing a stereo system meant that this day was going to be mostly about wires. Working out which wires connected to what piece of equipment was the trick we needed to perform. Although I'd still need a bit of welding to make the platform for the amplifier. I'm not sure Nick wanted me let loose with a Stanley blade, so by design or not, Mr. Williams set about connecting things up, and there was a lot to join up, let me tell you.
So what we got in the box, Nick?
Right.
What have we got from our lovely friends at Arc Audio?
Arc Audio have once again hooked us up with some amazing goodies.
Start with these bad boys.
So we have two sets of X2 602 speakers from Arc Audio.
Coaxial,
they're coaxial speakers. They're really nice actually.
Really pretty, man.
Really pretty. Really nice design.
Man,
Really
just
clean.
artwork, really, aren't
Mate, they do what we need them to do, and they're a great build quality. So it's great to use an American product in our American car.
Oh, built in Britain, baby.
Yeah.
So that's our door speakers. These, well, I say door speakers.
Well, they're our front and rear speakers.
Front and rear speakers, which we're going to mount in these sexy pods.
Yes. Next, we have the Arc Audio XDI 1100S, I think it is.
Love. He wrote.
Oh, 0.5.
He read the brochure. I
read the brochure. So again, this is a really
top end.
It's a great little compact unit.
The good thing about it is you can run this on your standard speakers as well as your subwoofer.
Yeah, so you could, if you wanted to, run it channeled and bridged so that we could run it to amplify the normal speakers. But we're going to purely use this for the subwoofer. Are we not?
No, we're not.
Are we going to run it channeled?
We can run this to everything.
So we're going to be running them channeled. So
I should have told you beforehand.
Should have done.
Surprise!
Surprised. So
Free
yeah.
stuff.
it's a really nice bit of kit, and again, actually the finish of it is going to match in really well with the rest of the Charger. So it is all of the pretties. It is going to do what we need it to do.
I love rubbish.
You do. Think of the environment, Sam.
I did. I came back.
Plastic's not recyclable.
No, but my apprentice is. Cool, so that's our XDI.
So that's our XDI amplifier in all its loveliness.
Back to our audio part 2.
Yep.
We're gonna need one of those keys, pal.
Gonna need one of my handy BMW keys.
Oh baby. So what we're going for here is a 8-inch ARC speaker.
Yep.
If I can get him. Once again, just a pretty speaker, man.
Yeah.
The quality of this thing.
So this is a lot of guys go for a really big sub, and that's fine. But in some applications, you just want to have something that gives you that little bit of background bass, gives you a bit more depth.
This will do it for
and
me,
that's going to do the job perfectly. It's quite a compact subwoofer, but packs a really nice punch. Yeah, so really looking forward to using this actually, and be interesting to see how it sounds with everything else.
Just a nice fuddage.
Yeah, well that's it. So, you know,
And
keyed up with the Dynamat stuff inside, it's going to allow us to actually hear some of this. So
I like that.
it's really cool.
Head
unit time, the best part.
Head unit, they're not the
So-
best part, speakers are the best
Well,
part.
yeah.
Powered by another best part.
Precisely. So as we've already sort of mentioned and talked about, we've not gone for your traditional car stereo. We've teamed up with the great guys at JL Audio, and we've actually gone for this Media Master 50 unit. So again, normally it's something used in a marine application, but we've gone for it because we wanted something small, would allow us to use our smart devices, our phones and that sort of stuff, to listen to music, but just didn't take up a great amount of space.
Placing that little control unit in the dash became my mission, but it was definitely easier said than done.
Come on, there you go, please. And you, and you, I take my cutter back.
You're not taking your car back. I love it too much.
I'm gonna need one of those 8 mils, pal.
Well, good for you, because I haven't got any.
He's one of those wallies. Right, I've got a voltmeter in my hand.
Good.
We don't need voltmeters where we're going, do we?
Wow.
In the other side of the world, they work backwards, right, America?
No, that's Australia.
Oh.
No, that's upside down.
Can't film this, Karl. This is hard up garage naughtiness.
You know what it is, Sam?
What?
It's industry secrets, and we'll be shot if we show people how we do something.
Good answer. Good rendition there, pal.
It's like that, you know, the magician's code of what's it.
What?
Yeah.
Sam, just tell me what you're doing here. What's
Here
Yeah.
is this is Sam being very lazy, because if I went to my workshop and got an 8mm socket, this would take half of the time that it would actually take me to. Instead, I'm using the largest pair of mole grips I own in the world because I'm tired and it's late, and we are basically working on the same thing that SEMA is based on, which is called the SEMA Crunch. And the SEMA Crunch is the
It's not a cereal.
it's not a cereal. It's not owned by a generic cornflakes or cereal brand. Basically, the SEMA Crunch is the time in which you have left to build something for SEMA. Full stop. And yeah, this is not how you do it. It's not how you do it.
My old mate Richard Rawlings has his beer assistants, but I have something very similar.
Bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just going to get my stereo assistant. In my right hand here is going to appear a stereo in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stereo assistant. So what we have is in this gap here, here is going to go a stereo. So Nick could operate it with his cake fingers. Why is he eating cake? Is he have a little cake fold down tray like they had in the old back of Renault Scenics? Yeah, we're going to have a cake tray here. And basically, when he's got his fingers covered in cake, he can come over here and go woo and get food. No, sorry, operate the stereo.
I need to explain cake is Nick's favourite thing in the world, as he proudly declares on one of his cars. I was bribing him to help me with a Victoria sponge, and he was doing great things wiring up the amplifier.
So I've just spent last bit of time rough running the wires for now. So Sam's going to end up just tidying up and loom taping up the rest of the wires, but this way we can just get a bit of a test on the go. So we've got our front and rear speakers here. We've got our subwoofer speaker here. Then we've got our power earth and our remote. The remote is the wire that sends the trigger from the stereo to the amplifier to turn on. So it's pretty much the most important wire. We want to try and keep the loom as tidy as possible because unlike most cars, they have panels inside that you can hide the wiring. With this, there isn't anything. It's a NASCAR chassis with a Charger body shell on top. So for the moment, it looks a bit raggedy and a bit messy, but this is just purely so that we can do a first test, check that everything works, that we've got no speaker issues, and then we can move forward and actually get it all loom taped up and it all looking really nice.
As Nick just mentioned, there aren't any interior panels on the NASCharger, so that's why we had to go for these speaker housings that look just like howitzer shell casings. I'll let the Cake Meister explain that fully.
We're installing these pods now into the Charger. We're doing a bit of a mock-up at the moment just to check that we're happy with the placement. Now one of the reasons we went for these is because we can work with them with the cage, but that also limits us in sort of positions we can put them. Sort of running out a bit of time, sort of SEMA crunch, so we've got the front end ones pretty much happily situated down in the front. Hopefully maybe end of the day we'll actually get some sounds coming out of the car.
It's doing something, Nick. Stop working, Nick.
Voltage. Cable jumped off where you twiddle them together.
Okay, hang on. Right.
I struggled to get the stereo head unit to power up. I had overlooked the simplest of issues. Why?
Starting. Cuts out. Now we know, basically, I wasn't turning it on. That's simple. But sometimes, you know, it's best to step back and really evaluate what's happening, because it could, like this case, be something very, very simple, or it could be something that we've done wrong. So that's good. We haven't done anything wrong. It's just a matter of double and, you know, triple checking what we've done to make sure that we don't damage the unit, and that's the most important thing. This is like a £400 to £500 or so, like $650 head unit, and we you know, at the best of times we don't want to throw that in the bin. So let's try round 3. Power on down there, power on up here, should come to life for just a second, then kick off, and we should be able to press power and that kick on. Right, I'm going to plug in some phono leads, pal.
Yeah, well, we need to plug in the amp.
Okay, so the subwoofer red, subwoofer white, or is in black in this case. Then we've got 2 outs. We've got zone 1 and zone 2. Yeah. So should we say zone 1 is going to be our front zone?
Yeah.
And in this case, I've got blue or silver.
Yeah, so I've done blue to red, silver to white.
100%, yeah? Blue to red, silver to white.
Yes.
Perfect. Zone 2.
Same again.
Blue to red.
Yeah.
Silver to white. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm on.
We had to tidy up the wiring loom a bit and do a few other jobs, but that was basically it. We powered up the amplifier that Nick had just set up at the rear, and the rubber hit the road right there.
You got a sub? Hang on then.
A little while before we got wired for sound, we needed to get our prop shaft elongated. As you all know, if you've watched all the NASCharger episodes, the crux of this build was an elongation of the NASCAR chassis by about 7 inches, so it fits the Dodge Charger's mean looking body. That also meant I had to pay a visit to prop shaft services near Heathrow, so I could get a little bit more length in my shaft, so to speak.
We've done one of the Batmobiles, the prop
Wow.
shaft for the Batmobile. There's a program called Top Gear.
Yep.
We've done a couple of prop shafts for them when they did the V8 food mixer.
Yeah.
Okay, we did prop shaft for that.
Very cool.
A couple of other film bits.
awesome.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
There was an extended Rolls Royce on there. We did the
Wow.
prop shaft for that.
My NASCharger product was in great company then. Perhaps I'll get a better price for it because these guys also did the Batmobile. The prop has to be ground down to be perfectly balanced and a perfect circle. Otherwise it has a negative effect on the amount of torque that gets to the rear wheels. That's why it's spun on a machine and a specialist computer measures the smallest of discrepancies.
Oh my God, it's getting better, isn't it?
You want a job here?
Bloody hell.
We are happy with that.
Look at that, eh? No ejecto prop shafts this time, eh? Awesome.
A small but important part of the build done, but here's another small part that deserves some attention, the exhaust. The NASCAR I purchased had a fabulously loud V8 rumble, but I was pretty sure it wasn't street legal. And at the time this was a major problem because I was fairly certain that potential buyers for the vehicle would want to drive it on normal highways. My friends at Pipes Exhaust really helped me out, providing the same excellent exhaust system that I used on my Fast and the Furious replica Dominic Toretto Charger that predated the NASCharger by a few years. The difference being the NASCharger had a side exit exhaust. This meant bringing in an expert welder, Dwayne Bradshaw, to help me adapt the pipe system.
So these parts here are every hot rodder's dream. Due to they allow you to get away from the police. As you drive past the police and you've got your exhaust open to the atmosphere, it's as loud as it can be, which annoys Mr. Police Officer. So as he catches you up, you activate these little solenoids here, which shut it and open to the full exhaust system, making it nice and quiet, hence not being chased by Mr. Plod Officer. That's it.
Look at the license plate! Evil! Sam, go up there and show him who's evil! I can do that.
Of course, driving the NASCharger well in excess of the speed limit racing Lamborghini might also upset the police. We plan to show you my brushes with the law on the drive to SEMA in our series about the radical build-off drive-off from Nebraska to Las Vegas. But back to the exhaust for the moment.
When it's finished, it'll look really cool. Let's just hope it works. It's kind of a toss-up between mine and Sam's ideas at the moment. So what Sam's got going on in his head, you can't just buy off the shelf.
Dwayne was happy finessing the parts that required his superior skills, while I did a bit more of the chopping. But we managed to integrate the brand new exhaust system from Pipes with the older NASCAR system the car had originally. It was quieter when you needed it, but it sounded amazing when you opened up those turnouts, and we had a lot of fun with that. We mentioned Cobra seats last episode. I had installed a really great pair of their racing seats I had already been given previously. But just ahead of FuelFest, the lovely people at Cobra sent me the best race seats I've ever seen, which were completely personalised with red stitching. I just couldn't wait to unveil the NASCharger now the paint had been redone. Cobra had upgraded the seats and the stereo system was fully functional. I was itching to expose what we had made, not least because we were placed next to Chrome Cars of Germany, who had a fantastic collection of original Fast and the Furious vehicles on display. In another top-notch car show, the NASCharger had really stood out and turned heads. Things boded well for the SEMA show in Las Vegas, that's for sure.
I've never in my life seen so many people attracted to a car. And you know, initially they're attracted to the car because of the way it looks, the iconic stance, the movie-esque it has. And then, the real car guys start looking at it and going, hey, that's on NASCAR tyres. Why is it on NASCAR tyres? Why does it have that stance? Why is the exhaust hanging out the side like that? And they really look into what is going on. I was so proud that my plans had come together so well. The only problem was I needed to ship it to Nebraska urgently. I didn't have time to properly test it over a couple of 100 miles. From the mechanical angle, I was anxious about this beast going 1500 miles without any big issues. You can see what happened in our mini series about the radical build of Drive Off, so keep an eye out for that on our YouTube page. You've already seen the clip that shows my little brush with the authorities. I knew I'd have to sell it on. That was always going to have to happen, and I was thinking it might make some big money at the Barrett-Jackson auction. But in the end, a guy in Austria bought it for his car museum, and I'm okay with that. It means the NASCharger will be enjoyed by the public, and when they Google it, they'll find out the videos and hopefully they'll enjoy them as much as you have. Oh, and one more thing, we did it all again. A fella in Spain wanted a NASCharger as a drift car, but as it was now in a museum, he commissioned me to build another. This time I had to use a regular 1970 Charger, which I bought from a bloke in Holland, but essentially we did almost exactly as we'd done before. This is that car almost finished. It doesn't matter if you're in Fairham, you're in New York, or you're in, let's say, Hawaii. For you to build something, wherever you are in the world, and it have that much of an effect on someone that they want you to build another one, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Like, you know, to think that little Sam in Little Fairham, in Little Hampshire, in Little England, compared to the world, built a car that someone loved enough to make me want to build another one. I mean, absolutely mind blowing. Guys, I've been sat down here for the last year, okay, doing voiceovers and making every part of these episodes as fun for me as hopefully it is for you at home. I just want you to know that my blood, sweat, tears, my friends' blood, sweat and tears, and a lot of my money went into building the car, putting these videos together to just show you my crazy journey. Thank you for being there. Thanks for watching every single one of these episodes, and please share them. You know, hopefully in 10-20 years time when I'm old and wrinkly, this video will still be growing and still be growing because it's a part of my legacy, it's a part of my history, and thank you for believing in me. Thanks for being there. And I'm going to go back up my house for the last time and not have to do any more voiceovers. But thank you to Karl Baumann, thank you to Nick William, thank you to all of my sponsors. Thank you for my lovely lady and my kids for putting up with me, and just thanks for you guys at home for believing in me and being there. And hopefully this time next year we'll have another crazy series for you, and I hope you're liking that too. Bye for now. But remember guys, don't eat yellow snow.